What is up, everybody? We are back on the Traitors OCG podcast. I'm here with Rita, Fanguy, Alex, Meg. We will be joined by Aspen and Janessa at some point today. But until then, I guess I will ask the four of you to give me your one down for the episode, and then we'll get to the ups after.
Oh man, that's hard.
That is hard.
Oh.
Fanguy, you're muted.
Drea's way down. This one's easy. It's Drea.
Yeah, Drea's down for me as well. I'll pick Drea.
And also Raven.
Oh man, I think Raven too. Sadly to say, poor girl.
How about your one up?
Lauren, I'm giving it to Lauren. I'm putting Lauren up this week.
I'm putting Dot up.
I was also gonna say Dot.
I have Dot on my list too, but I can only give one, so I'm gonna give it to Lauren.
Lauren did good. She did good.
I'm gonna say Lori.
Well, we'll do this much like last week. We will get to everybody at some point, but I want to go over the biggest stuff that transpired in this episode. A lot actually transpired in this episode, but we'll start at the beginning of the episode. When Amy got offed, did you all agree that that was their best choice? You guys kind of mentioned it last week. You also said maybe Anthony, but how are you feeling about the Amy offing?
I think it was the safest choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Amy didn't do that much, so Ashley was completely right in that aspect.
I think Anthony would have been smarter.
It was. I don't think that it really ruffled a lot of feathers, and they don't know who she was talking to, so it didn't give any clues as to who the traitors could be by that murder.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a good murder, but it was the one. It was definitely predictable. It was who I thought they were going to get. But I agree with everything y'all just said. But like, if you're the traitors, you kind of want the chaos. So like, why get rid of somebody who's not doing anything anyway? Get rid of like.
I disagree.
Like a bolder, like you could Anthony, Raven, even Dot. Like I would stray away from the returnees, but just someone a little more face forward.
Anthony, yes, but I would say in general, Amy's a good one because the chaos continued whether or not like they did the same thing, which is still working. So if it like starts to not work, then definitely switch it up. But like right now, no one knows what the hell is going on. So continuing on the same path leads to no more answers. So I think it's a great Amy's a good boot.
I'm glad Anthony didn't go though, because I think he bonded with Lauren a lot, which made me really happy for her.
Yeah.
And but I'm like, these people gotta flush their freaking feelings, man. This game is like very cutthroat, and everyone's like feelings here and feelings there. I'm like, have you been in an Among Us chat? Like that thing is
literally.
Alex, last week you said that Ashley was getting her way in with the traitors. Obviously, that can't happen anymore. But before that, do you think this was best for Al and Dar?
Not necessarily. I think, they all had their own reasons. I believe Dar wanted Mike and Elle wanted Drea. But the person who was pushing pushing Amy was Ashley. And the logic was sound and she got her way. And I think, I don't know if it's the best case scenario for Elle and Dar, but it's definitely not what they wanted. So I do think Ashley has been controlling this game so far. So spoiler alert, now that she's gone, the whole game is different once again.
Yeah, it sucks that she had to leave like that too, because I think she could have made it really far.
And it's information for the faithfuls. That's too much. That was such a huge mistake in terms of I'm assuming you said she missed an alarm or something, but that is so brutal. For her and the rest of the traitors to just, not good.
And I do feel out of the three that she could have manipulated the votes a little bit better because she was so social with everyone. When Elle's social, but she's kind of just low-key social, and I don't know, like it's different. Ashley was like, hi guys, what's up? So it was like really hard to detect her.
Oh, I changed my mind. I don't think who did I say was down? Drea? No, I'm changing to L. But yeah.
I had her down too.
I also had her down.
Yeah.
Let's go to Drea and Jason. They were the interrogators. They caused they caused a lot of mess. But before we get to the mess, do you like their picks or how they got to their picks of who to interrogate? Which turned out to be Lauren, Raven, Dar.
I wish they would have went down the line and considered everyone and gave like a reason why or why not. I think that would have been more helpful.
Do you think your boy Jason kind of pushed it a certain way?
Oh yeah, like that was like a cold case of like, hey guys, I'm gonna keep talking and I'm asking you questions, but I'm gonna keep talking.
I love that he said, I can see what people are saying. Where like I don't let people speak, but then he like follows it up by saying like that went really well, and I'm like, what? Like, are you serious? Did you just say that? It was so funny to me. I was like, okay, so you want that? Like that's fine.
Well, why also does he say like,
how are you, Jason? How are you?
Okay, if you want to pick a guy, like you go ahead, you pick a guy. I'm like, why? Does it have to be like gender specific? Like
it's so random. Like he gave like two picks or two or three, and it was like you pick someone to them, like pick a man. And I'm like, why?
Yeah, you pick a guy.
It just made me laugh because like Drea just like you could tell she was just like analyzing him the entire time, and I was like, oh god, Jason, shut up.
She was
in
like,
Jason's defense, it is hard to work with Drea. Drea would be infuriating to play with, against, to be in. She's so clueless that it's like,
yeah,
like
yeah.
way off track. And
the three returnees.
I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna have to defend Drea today, I guess. But we'll get to that.
I wanted to defend Drea too, actually. So.
Well, I guess we'll talk about it now.
I was about to say, please tell me how you're going to defend that you're going to make the three returnees traitors.
Well, that part.
Please tell me how that makes any sense.
Calling them traitors was her mistake. But she was 100% right. They are protecting each other. And Mike and Jason have been so blatant about it that it does look suspicious. So I don't think like
right with that.
She's not clueless.
Okay, fair enough.
I appreciated Drea's like just her outness in general, because it did shake a lot of people up, and like they didn't even know how to react to it. And that's why I put Dot up, because he was just like, he did it so good, and I was like, damn, Dot, like you're taking some psychology classes or something, because that's like he responded and everyone else kind of reacted to that. So but the funniest thing with Drea and with Jason was Lori taking notes the entire time. And I was just like cracking up at that, because they were like going back and forth, and Lori's like the third person. She's like, I'm just going to take my notes.
She's the court reporter, just transcribing the whole thing.
He's just transcribing the conversation. No analysis. Oh my God.
Do you remember when Dot said? I have it written
down. What is sauce? I wrote down sauce. What is that?
Oh man.
Like nothing important. Just just lingo. No, I will say, as a traitor, I would love Drea to be in the cast. Like, having Drea as a faithful, it just eases everything, like for weeks until she's out, and I'm never murdering her. So,
yeah, I think Drea's biggest weakness is too many targets. Like that's definitely like if she would have just called out Mike the whole time, it might have been a little better.
Her other weakness is tunnel vision with trusting the wrong people.
Well,
like her alliance was Ashley, and she was like, I got played, guys. And I'm like
but that's why I'm like, now that Ashley's gone and revealed to be a traitor, everyone is going to like reanalyze every conversation a little bit, maybe not better, but at least like way more cautious, because most people trusted Ashley besides Jason. Most people did not have her as someone high on the list of. So like it's going to be interesting how they change their analysis, the way they do things. But yeah, it is really funny. Drea's only person that she trusted is the traitor.
Well, and I know her kind of calling everybody out, and the whole scene she made at the round table was going to potentially get her voted out had Ashley been there. But I wonder now that Ashley's gone, Andrea realized how wrong she was, if all of this stuff that she spouted is really going to hold any weight, people are going to be like, well, you were totally wrong about her, so how can we trust that, your judgment on anybody else? It might not come back to bite her as bad.
And her other weakness is not like repeating what people are saying clearly. And you can't, and I mean, like this was like kind of happened in my season 2, where it's just like one thing is being told, but then the other one is being articulated by the person who heard it. And sometimes that's not always like, it's not always correct. And so she stirred a lot of pots with that too, like just not being correct with that. And I'm like, you need to listen more, because that's not what everyone said.
She threw a lot of dirt on Mike specifically.
She'd be lying about what they say. Like, she either misheard it or wants her way, so she's just saying shit. Like she'll say one thing that may have happened by one person and make it a blanket statement. Everyone said it. Everyone's doing this. And I'm like, I don't think that's true. Like, that's crazy.
I shouldn't call her clueless. She's just scattered. She's very, very, very scattered.
Yeah. That would be hard to play with. Because it's like, how do you call someone out that in a correct manner without hey, this person's has my information correct. What the fuck are you talking about?
And then immediately call someone else out. Like, oh, I'm calling you out. Wait, no, I meant you. Wait, no, you too. Yeah, you and you and you. Like, it's just it's great to watch though. She's like my favorite person on the cast. Yeah. Man, I would never want to play a game with her. Never want to play a game with her.
She's like a fun mess. It's not like a mugsy mess.
It's not mugsy. It's genuinely and she's not even serious about it. Honestly, she is pretty unserious with it. But she'll make it like it's true, and it's really funny. I'm like, you're just lying out your ass.
Yeah, she did say something though that I could really relate to, and she said, I'm sorry if my demeanor comes off aggressive or whatever the case may be, and I've gotten that before, so I get that. So I'm like, that's why I'm like, okay, I don't feel I feel I'm gonna give her a little points for that, because just her deliverance.
She's self-aware. She is self-aware. She's not unaware of how she is. She's completely aware about it.
It's her master plan, guys. This is her way of never getting murdered, never getting voted because no one's taking it seriously. She's gonna go right to the end and still pick the wrong traitor. That's
I don't think she's gonna make it to the end.
Honestly, listen, if I was a traitor, I'd probably be taking Drea with me because she makes the most noise out of everyone.
Yeah.
I do think she was getting voted out.
I agree.
Yeah, I think it depends on where Dar and Dot would have voted, but I do think it was leaning that way.
Dot was 100% going to vote for Drea.
I think Anthony was definitely. Well, I won't spoil anything. Never mind. But Anthony was not going to vote for Drea. But that's why I appreciate that Drea and Anthony are at least not being the people. Oh, let's all vote for the same people.
Right.
Okay.
Let's talk about their interrogations, though. Because there was a comment, I believe, that said they actually were good interrogators together. They were just watching each other a little too closely. How do you think their interrogations went with the three?
Jason's pretty good at interrogating, I think. Andrea was funny when she interrogated Raven. I don't know who she interrogated. But
Raven Dar mostly, but yeah.
It was very vague questions that she would give out, and it's just to me it seemed like bullshit, and I was like, is it because of Jason? And it's because of Jason. But Jason was asking really interesting questions of did you want to be a traitor before playing? Did you put down traitor or faithful? That's the way Lauren responded to that. I was like, yeah, that actually looks pretty good. That was a very genuine, quick response of I'm not surprised I didn't get traitor. And like that is a really good way of telling, you know. And then he did clock the Dar situation of like getting super defensive right away. So like if Drea wasn't here to sabotage everything, like I think Jason would have been a little bit more keen on figuring out what was said, and instead of being bombed by her and saying that he's a traitor. So I think it was pretty good.
We
Yeah, I
definitely
think.
saw another side of Dar. Dar got very defensive this episode, which
Yep.
it was not that hard to clock. If you were paying attention, it was not that hard to clock.
Yep. And I would have kept asking him, "Hey, Dar, you're a traitor, aren't you?" Like,
He'd have cracked too. You know he'd have eventually
egged
cracked.
that
It's
on
like
so
just
hard. But I feel like if Drea, if like she would have gave Jason more of a chance, they could have like cracked a little bit more information. And just because she didn't trust him, it just like didn't feel authentic between the two. And so yeah, her questions were just like, I don't know, they weren't like that great. They were just like kind of like fillers at that point for some of them, for some of the people.
Is there who gets to choose the interrogators? The previous interrogators?
No,
Or
everybody
votes?
votes. Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And they vote for 2 at a time as well.
And are they having, I mean, we haven't really seen a whole lot about it, but are they like strategizing on who they're going to vote for?
Well, this past time, Mike pretty much put Drea and Jason out there, so that's kind of why they got the votes.
Okay.
I mean, it was what it was. I think they did a better job than the interrogators last week because I think Mike was so tunnel vision on saving his own ass last week that he turned the interrogations into save Mike's show rather than actually, just digging something out of the people. And I think these two were actually at least, like, who do you trust? Who do you not trust? I mean, they hit all the basics. I don't necessarily think it was anything revelational or spectacular, but I don't think they did bad. I mean, you can't really expect much more than what they did.
I think that's why I'm like, interrogators, I actually enjoyed Mike and Raven doing what they did because he came in with an objective and got what he wanted. Whereas Jason and Drea, they did really good. Like Jason did a really good job like interrogating, but at the end of the day, Drea suspect of Jason. Like none of that information even came out into the public at the round table. Like I think Anthony even asked like, someone was like, what actually went down? Because we haven't even gotten to that part yet.
Lauren asked, and she was even one of the ones that was interrogated.
Right.
But she's asking them, like, what happened in your interrogations? Like, you haven't told us anything. And I think we haven't really, or the group hasn't collectively got a handle on this roundtable situation and what the vote is supposed to look like and what they're supposed to be voting for. Because while I do think they were all going to vote for Drea and get her out, why? Because you think she's a traitor, or just because she was like loud and aggressive at the roundtable? Because that's not
right.
Again,
you're
we're
going
not
off
playing Big Brother or Survivor where you can just knock off people because you don't work with them well.
Yeah.
The problem is for her is that she's targeting so many people that every person she's targeting, even if they're like, I don't think you're a traitor, but you got to go because you're putting all the attention on me. I think it was more of that than anyone actually thinking she's a traitor. It was just like all the returnees are like, well, Drea's got to go because she's pointing all the fingers at us.
Yeah.
And I think it's more of that than necessarily anyone thinking she's a traitor. But I do the same thing. Like, I don't care if you're a traitor. If my name's coming out of your mouth and you're trying to put people onto me,
I don't know. I think that's faithful because Drea has kind of proven herself to be like untrustworthy as an ally and a person. So like even if she's like gunning for like 7 people in the cast, she's 1 vote. Like how is that going to actually lead someone to like go out, right? So for me, I feel like it's clear that Drea is scattered, doesn't know what she's doing. Either she's a traitor and we'll clock her at the end, or she is just not powerful to get out right now. So we actually focus on someone else that's causing stuff behind the scenes. But it's hard when Drea's out there 24/7, like talking for like hours and not letting anyone speak really. So
she's not influencing any votes, so she's just being loud about it. And did she say, hey guys, I may be wrong and you can vote me out? But did she say that? See, and like for me, that's like I don't know. Like I would have been like, okay, maybe she's not a traitor. And again, that could be a manipulation tactic because people in Among Us do that. So I don't know. But that seemed genuine.
Yeah, there's no way she's a traitor. Like I don't think anyone thinks she's a traitor.
I don't think so either.
Her whole demeanor would change, and that's
Mhm.
that's the other thing that kind of like actually irritates me about her play is she is solely focused on what she would be doing if she was a traitor, and she's like projecting that onto other people, and it's just like when she was like Dot's being really quiet and blah 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 blah, and I'm like, okay, but maybe that's what he wants to do. Maybe that's his strategy. I'm like, what about you? Like, and she's saying like, you know, like I wouldn't do that. And her and Ashley had that conversation too. And I'm just like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, you can't use your own projection for that.
I thought Dot was about to stop being quiet when she started attacking him. I wrote down in my notes like you're about to fuck around and find out.
Was
like,
about to pop off.
He was ready.
He controlled himself well too, because he was ready to pop off, and he's like, "Drea, you're cool. I get it. Like, he's like, you know,
I respect you.
like, I've been down this road multiple times, and it has never gone my way. So
I love seeing the growth.
Honestly, that's why I'm not convinced I was going to vote for Drea. I think by the end of the roundtable, he was iffy on voting for Drea.
Yeah.
Before we get to Lauren calling out Raven, how do you feel about Al making nice with Lauren, and how did that go for both of them?
I'm really hating the Lauren move more and more now that she's behaving the way she is. Who even told her this? Jason, I think, was like, you need to not apologize for what you did. Like, why are you so guilty? You know? And to me, that is a clear sign of like, oh, you know who the traitors are, so you're feeling guilty for putting the attention on an innocent faithful. And so like, it's so bad that like any faithful who did that would stand by and be like, I don't know if you're a traitor, but I had to get things out there. Like, it's very easy for people to understand that she's not doing it out of malice, but the more she's apologizing, the more she's going around being all like apologetic and sad and like a sad puppy, it's not working. Like, genuinely, I think Jason almost believes that she's a traitor and he just wants her around. Like, people are not trusting her, even though the first reaction was like, wow, she's so brave. And like, she's genuinely digging herself a hole every single time she talks to someone, because
one bad move can follow you your whole game.
And it was a great move, but it's not anymore. So
yeah,
I think the conversation was fine. I suppose it was necessary. I think Lauren handled it well. She could have turned it in a different direction, and it was whatever. I think hopefully they'll just move on from that, and it won't be part of the conversation.
Lauren was ready to go. She was.
I know. I texted her. I was like, "Oh, you look cute."
Good. I was like, "Okay, Lauren, she's ready to dress to impress right now. She's not going to be getting your allegations." It was great.
I don't know if Lauren is misrecalling what happened, or if she's just flat out lying, but she was stirring the pot. Like, she keeps telling people, I don't know, I don't remember saying that, or I didn't say that, and I'm like, yeah, you did. It's on video.
She probably legitimately doesn't remember.
Yeah, no, and I get that read from her. Like, I actually read that off of her. Like, she doesn't remember doing that, or doesn't think she did, but she did. She was one of the instigators.
I do shit like that too, because I smoke too much weed when I play these games. I'm like, wait, what did I say?
Guilty as charged. I get it. I get it.
That's funny. Yeah, I don't know. I think the L conversation didn't need to happen. And I think if Jason didn't have such tunnel vision with trusting L, just like Mike, I feel like, he would have clocked that. Because why is he over here, like, just, being her cheerleader? I would have been like, why are you getting so defensive with this? It's just one vote, like.
Honestly, if he just continues riding that wave of like trusting Elle and knowing that she's loyal to him, because he did clock that she is loyal to him.
Yeah.
He can get to the end and cut her and win the game. Like, that is a really big possibility here.
Yeah.
But he needs to find out about Dar. Like, it can't just be about Elle. So,
I think Dar is on his radar now a little bit, just because of the conversations that happened. I think Dot that said to him, like, he would be like the perfect
best.
traitor. And I think Jason was like, oh, actually, you're kind of right.
Yeah.
And he did say he's not 100% sure
Yeah.
that. I mean, he out of everybody so far, I think is most on the right track.
He has
Sure.
the most info. Like he has
Yeah.
the most correct info.
He's
It's
also
Yeah.
the only person, as I've been saying, that is like, hey guys, guess what? One of these returnees
I
is a
know.
traitor. He's
Yep.
the only person who's using proper logic.
Oh, and he's
when it
saying
comes
it out loud to
But-
the group.
but I think-
multiple times.
Yep.
I
and
think
nobody's catching on. Nobody's like jumping on it. You know what? Maybe this guy has a point.
Dar's gonna kill him now. Like genuinely, one, Dar being so defensive, but two, Jason like putting it out there.
Yeah.
I feel like Dar is just gonna impulsively be like, Jason's gotta go.
Yeah, but do you think that's going to point a target at the returnees then for even more?
Yeah.
For being
Oh, yeah.
It might not be his best move.
It's not, but I think he's gonna do it. Like I don't think he realizes that doing that does make him actually appear more.
What are these traitor conversations going to look like between Elle and Dar now that Ashley's not there?
It's-
Who will tell them what to do?
Well, they're going to have an interesting decision right here to kill or to recruit.
Well, we'll get to that.
Oh, okay.
If Dar's smart, he's going to recruit a return
Jason.
as a traitor, and then throw
Oh,
them to the
yeah,
wolves
he's
and be
gonna
like, "Hey, the
recruit
returning's out."
Oh my
That's
god, he's got to
so
recruit
smart.
Dot or Mike.
Okay.
That's funny.
Let's discuss Lauren calling out Raven. Meg, you put her up. How did you enjoy that?
I like to see her find her voice and say something, and I like to see her getting more comfortable in the game and actually playing now. So I think it was a good move. I think Raven's name was coming up in conversations. I think people thought, I don't know, I think it was brave of her to say it and say, hey, can I just have the floor? And like, hey, I've been noticing something. So Raven, can you explain that to us? I don't think that she did it in a mean way. I was going to say a malicious way, but I do think it was malicious, but not
Malicious in game. Not
Yeah.
like personal.
and it threw Raven off her game because she was not expecting it. At
I
It
all.
was
was-
holding a sloth at the end of it, guys.
She
Like,
was
you
like,
see this
Raven?
stubborn animal.
Oh, and I feel bad for her because I know what it's like to just like randomly have you're just like
Yes.
caught off guard and like, oh
Yeah.
shit, I need to like say something or
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Raven,
I
like, being frazzled literally makes her look like she's about to tell everyone that she's a fucking traitor.
right.
It's genuinely like, the way that she speaks, the words that she's using, I'm like, what is happening to her? Like she's like getting compelled to tell everyone
yeah.
that she's a traitor.
Well, like the we thing, and then constantly talking about how she's like, oh yeah, I know that I said that, and I know that
I
how
fucked up. She's like, I fucked up. I was like,
I
why
know. I
would
was
you
like,
fuck up like that?
stop.
Just stop it. Just be like, I say we sometimes. Move on. Don't like
Yeah.
harp on it and be like, oh, I can't believe I did that. Like, what? It was very. But I will say, like, socially, Raven has a lot more people behind her, and that is what worries about Lauren is that she made a really good move strategically, but will people kind of like back her up, or will people just let her get the heat because Raven
The
has?
boys are still blinded by the beauty.
I know, but Lauren put makeup on. She's ready to like divide that group of men and be like, "You're on my side now."
I think Ashley going is actually good for Raven if people are thinking about it right. Because once again, like I said, I'm too logical sometimes, but Nick wouldn't make Raven and Ashley both traitors because they both fit the same sort of similar demographic, player profile, etc. So
Yeah,
that
but
would,
I don't think these new players are thinking
Sure,
about
Hello
it
to
in the way
this.
that we would, right? Like,
Hello.
I think most of us who played multiple times maybe think a little bit more strategically like that, or think like, if I were Nick, knowing Nick, which we all know him a lot better than they do.
That's true. I mean, most of these people are newbies.
Yeah. So I don't think they're looking at it as these like stereotype character roles. Like,
Yeah.
But with Drea though, with her like trying to pin 3 returnee boys, I was like, come on, girl. Like that.
yeah, I mean, obviously,
That is not. That's not.
that's a
fucking-
stretch.
And the
Maybe
3
maybe
wrong
2.
ones.
Yeah,
3 wrong returnees out of the 4.
3 out of 4.
One, and she did not get Dar. She's like, I believe Dar is good. And the
No,
other
not you, Dar.
Yeah, not you, Dar. I'm not talking about you. Like, you are missing the mark fully, and it's so
But
fucking
to be fair, in her defense, it's because he fits the quiet realm,
Yes.
and that's I think he genuinely feels bad about Amancio being there.
And the three of them are working together. Like she
Yeah.
is. I think what she should have done is be like, do you guys notice whenever brought up the other two protagonists, like there is truth to that, but not necessarily that all three of them are traitors. That's
yeah.
Well,
That's
and
a
Jason
stretch.
like handed that to her when they were talking about who they were going to interrogate, and he's
Yeah.
like just too adamant about not interrogating Mike or Dot or whatever. I forget either one.
He's right about that. Why would you interrogate Mike? Mike is giving all the information to everyone anyway. So I 100% agree with Jason on, and she couldn't like understand it for some reason. But like,
yeah, but I think the way
problem
that
is because
it could have been different.
This is the thing, though. The other reason why I think Dre is not completely out of it, because she is right. Mike and Jason controlled the Amancio vote. So it's just all this. There is a lot of evidence against Mike and Jason working together.
She's not presenting it correctly. Like
they're just not traitors. Is the problem?
It's a done deal that they're traitors. No, you can say that they're working together and they drove the mafia vote. Those two things are absolutely true. I don't know. I just love watching Drea do her thing. It's crazy.
Anyway,
what are they going to get out of interrogating Mike? Like really? Like he's already puts everything out there anyway.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Janessa, we're far along here, so I want to know your one up and your one down and why this episode.
Well, my up has to go to Lauren.
Ooh.
I mean, because I was in favor of her standing up, but then she like doubled down on everything, and I was like, yes, what a way to fight for yourself while fighting for yourself. So yes, and my one down, I don't know. I always struggle with the downs, you guys. I don't know. I keep one. I want to do an easy one this time, so I'll say Ashley because she had herself in a good position. And
this last week.
I mean,
You can't keep putting the person that leaves down.
You did this last week too.
Well, if they had a justifiable reason, like if it would be different if like they fought for themselves and then they still got booted off.
Would you
then I
put
wouldn't put them as
Ashley
a
down
down
if she didn't get voted out or didn't leave?
She wasn't in the episode, really.
There was no reason for her to go down.
This time there was a reason.
Get
though.
messy.
Her reason was
tell us what you really think.
This time her reason was sometimes people are given easy outs, so we don't have to like get clawy and nitty gritty.
I have at least 3 people on my down list.
Okay, so you have 3. I could probably bet that I would like to believe that at least one of your 3 that was on my radar for a down.
Well, was Dre on your radar for a down? And Raven?
I'll say that. I'll say yes to Drea because she was doing. Yeah, were we saying reasons or no? Were we just downs and ups and that's it?
Since we're far along, you might as well.
Okay, no, and I apologize to everyone for my lateness. Thank you.
You beat out. That's fine.
Okay, yeah. So I'll do. I guess I'll do. Yeah, Dre, she was doing a bit much. She was doing normally she does. She's always, but this time she's like really. I think she got sidetracked because at first she was on the right track on who was gearing the decision, and then she switched and went to the other person you guys were mentioning. You guys both had the names. Sometimes the names start getting crossed with me, but you guys were talking about when I came in. She got those two mixed up at some point, and that set her up for the old okie doke.
Let's discuss. I don't even know. Anything else stand out? Well, I guess we could discuss. I want to talk about, since there's a lot of Dot experts who've played with him a lot.
I just read that name over here. I was like, I like that Jason team. And you said that as soon as I said that in my head.
Well, how are you feeling about Dot and Mike still trying to work together? Dot and Jason. Dot has plans.
I love the Dot and Mike thing. I really hope that it works.
Yes. I put Dot Mike reunion. Like, are they like about to like settle their differences and we're going to see this beautiful friendship possibly
reunited?
Don't count on it if you ask me, because I took this route with that dude. I tried to make peace with him, and he still immediately turned around and started talking shit.
This is the reason I realized it was, as soon as I wrote it, I realized it wouldn't work anyways, because Dot's now doing what he accused Mike of doing, and that's making allies with everyone.
Well, that's what Dot's good at. Dot is really
Yeah.
good at making allies.
Yeah.
That's his
But-
MO. Like if you watch
Yeah.
Little Brother, what I called him out on that I think partially led to him getting evicted was in that chat. I looked at everyone. I said, "Hey, I'm not going to talk shit. How many of you think Dot has your back?" And it's like everybody. And
Okay,
I'm like,
so now
okay,
I gotta go watch Little Brother.
how many
Now I gotta
people?
go see it.
How many people
That's
can
so
Dot
awkward.
actually have your back? Because it's not everyone.
I don't think Dot can have someone's back. Honestly.
He doesn't. He's fake about it.
My
I'm
mind
sorry.
is really like taking notes because you guys, I really know that Nick's gonna have another show that I'm gonna want to be on, and I'm just like, who is he gonna have on there? And like, are we all
Who is he
taking
gonna
notes
have
right
on
now?
there? That's
Well,
a good question.
I don't want to shit talk Dot the whole time.
He's
I
playing
think-
great. He's playing
I
great.
think that Dot is doing very well. I think that he's getting his head in the game. He's losing his vendetta against Mike.
Agreed.
And he's finding his place. I want to see him be a little bit more strategic. I want to see him maybe make some moves and have some things happen because I know that he has it in him. But so hopefully he'll get there. But I think he's doing much better.
I was
Well,
just
I did
commenting
think-
on his MO. His MO is I'm everybody's friend. That
Yes,
is his-
and I love Dot, and he's been my ally multiple times. And no, he did not have my back at all in Little Brother. So I'm not going to.
I will say though, Dot did have the cleaners back in this first season.
he did have the
did.
cleaners. I made him a
also
fucking
tried
t-shirt.
having the my tribe's back.
That's the
Like,
only
Oh.
season he was loyal in was his first season. Because I tried to become, I was like, day one in our second season, I was like, Dot, we're number ones, bro. We're going to take it to the end. Nope. Betrays me. The next season, after our little tiff, first chat of the season, hey, Dot, let's squash this shit. We can run this shit together. Immediately in his next chat, nope, can't trust this guy. Bro, I've never betrayed anybody. You've betrayed me twice. So, like, why? He's just,
well, okay, so on this season at least, he's done the opposite. Like he distrusts Mike, and now he's like, let me actually try to work with this guy. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I think the clouds are parting for him in this. Like if I describe him in the first episode, it's like this stormy cloud of like past OCG trauma, and he's just like operating under the same guise of like how I got fucked over before, how I didn't win the game. And then he, you know, kind of got smacked in a little bit by everyone. And now he's like, okay, let me look at this in a different lens. And I do think he is operating a little better. I don't think he's falling into the same traps that he did before.
he's
We'll see
operating a
him
lot
fast.
better.
We'll
He's
see
operating
him
a lot
fast.
better.
But that is, I think that is true. Like he is on that path of like making good social connections. Like Raven was suspicious of him like an episode ago, but now she's kind of like trusting him again. So he's doing good work. It's just how far can you go?
Well, in this game, you don't really have to have like solid allies.
Agreed. You just have to not be the populist vote.
His style is perfect for this game because
Yeah, it is.
it's not going to kick him in the ass when he has to cut people who think they're his friends.
Yeah.
Like he can just slide by on his friendship, and this is a perfect game for him.
And there's no jury.
I
No
just like
dice.
how logical he was with his answers when he was being questioned, and there was like no emotion with that, and that was brilliant. It was like, hey, you know what? You have a right to your opinion, and you know I'm not going to be happy about it, but you know what? I still respect it. So it's like, what? Like no one else was saying that. Everyone was fucking pissed off in this chat.
Yeah. On that note, Jason kind of like went ham in that chat, and I was
Yeah.
like, Jason, you're coming off a little scary. Like,
Yeah.
this is not the crew that you want to be exactly that way to. Like, that tone of voice was insane. He was very mad. And it makes sense because, like, he just spent, like, a good hour with Drea. Like, Drea and Jason. This is the whole roundtable moment where Jason is being exposed for being a traitor.
Thank you.
So like Jason, yeah, his reaction was genuinely probably out of shock because he just spent a good hour with her trying to dissect who the traitors are, and all of a sudden did not know that this was happening. But the reaction was a little bit like suspicious. Like if I was watching that and I was a faithful trying to decipher this whole situation, Dot does come off really good.
Yeah.
Mike is fine. Mike didn't seem mad or upset or anything like that. He just didn't respond. And Jason was really heated. So like to me, it's like the Dar situation of like getting called out and like being super defensive.
Yeah.
It did not come off that great for me.
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that though, because I did want to say about him that I did feel like it was between him and Lauren on the up because he was at least trying to make that like amends with Mike, and so like seeing that, and then how he was at the round table was just like, okay, all right, he's still in it, he's still fighting, so yeah. Mhm.
He's
But
so much
Jason, he was
growth. That's what I
aggressive.
mean. I can talk all the shit on Dot I want. We've been through it, but if y'all heard me last week, I meant it, and I still mean it. So much growth. Like he has fucked around, he has found out, and now he is evolving from that.
Yeah.
He is not fucking around, therefore he is not having to find out.
You know, I think every game he's played, he evolves. So, like the first game, he didn't know how to strategically get somewhere. Played Big Survivor again and did strategically do so well, but then he kind of pulled a me where like he burned everyone and made everyone pissed off at him. So like he has kind of learned different aspects of what's happening, and now he's at probably the most evolved version he could be, and like it's a good format for him. So I can see him getting to the end. I just don't know. Does he know who the traitors are? I don't think.
And he doesn't hate chubby dudes anymore. Let's go, Dot. Let's go.
I think that Dot has the potential to figure out who the traitors are.
You think so?
I think he's already kind of weary of Dar, and now that there's only one other one to figure out, I think he's got the potential.
I do think Elle has lost so much like ground of being insulated. Like I do think she has lost so much trust for no reason. Not just because like she did anything specifically, it's just her demeanor makes people a little more weary about her. Whereas people were initially like, she is the leader. Like we can listen to her. She is really logical. Now it's like she doesn't feel good about this, so we can't really listen to her now. Like she's not going to do this again. So
she was scrambling when she talked to Lauren too. Like she was scrambling for an answer, and I'm like, this answer doesn't even make sense. Like, what are you talking about?
Lock in. I know you can do this. You did it so well the first episodes. Lock in.
Let's go to the other traitor, because Dar definitely evolved by the end of this episode too, and maybe it was defensiveness, but he got people to swear on their moms. He swore on his grandmother.
His dead grandmother.
His grandma was dead, and he said that. Oh, Dar.
But that's why he could, though. That's why he could, because she was already gone.
God, that is a bad thing to do. Like I understand the logic, but I'm like, that feels.
He's in the game. He is in the game. He's in the game.
He said he convinced himself that he's not a traitor.
He didn't need to.
He is focused. He's focused.
Like he like willingly gave that up and was like, swear on your family. And so he didn't need to do that. It wasn't like someone asked him to do that.
I think what happened with him is, you know how like typically when you're talking to people and you're trying to get to know people on any level, friendship, work, it doesn't matter. You typically only ask questions that you're comfortable answering yourself, right? So I think what happened was he asked a question and wasn't prepared. And his guilty conscience probably start to like rise up, and he didn't know how. Like, you know how you start realizing like, oh my goodness, like if someone decides to ask me that question, what am I going to say? Like, just beat them to it. Just throw it out there, get it done, and now it's out there.
And Nick's like, "Was your grandma okay?"
I had to ask. I mean,
she's dead.
I was like, oh my god.
I love Dar in this season. I feel like Dar is so random, and for some reason, like I'm not seeing it on the screen, but everyone else trusts him. At least right? Like genuinely, everyone's like, we need to vote out all the quiet ones, but Dar's not one of them. We need to vote out all the ones who are loud. Well, Dar's definitely not one of them. Like he never fits into any criteria of someone suspect, and that's so impressive. But I don't know why. It's just his vibe.
He's in a good place.
He gives me slight like Delion vibes. Delion was a lot like louder and more boisterous, but playing in a game with him, he wasn't ever anybody that I really like had my sight set on one way or another. And I feel like I get the same vibe from Dar. Like if I were playing with him, I feel like he would just be another player who existed in the game. But
no, he gives. Who's that one guy in your Cleaners Alliance that I don't even know his name anymore?
Hassan.
Hassan.
Okay, yeah, it's giving Hassan like in the corner, like you can't even see his face. He's just like not really emoting. and you don't know where he's at, but you don't like suspect him as like a threat. Like you never target him. That's who
Yeah. I was wary of Hassan though, so
He was even on Drea. Oh, all the returnees are traitors, but not you, Dar. You're good.
Yeah,
You're fine.
literally.
Like he really is.
He's the first person that has thrown sus on another traitor. He literally sussed Ashley to someone.
Yes.
Like so
to
casually.
the interrogators, he threw her name out.
Yes, he
It was
did.
so
Yes.
casual, and it was like Jason, like I already know that. Like I think Dar knew that Jason was sus on Ashley or something because that felt so natural and it felt so right for Jason to hear that. So like,
Yep.
I feel like he knows his audience. He knows who to say to what people. He knew to like throw Masio on the bus by saying, "Oh, you thought you were sus of Lori." Like these are all random things that I haven't seen too much on the show, but like it's working, and like. We'll see if Jason can clock it, but I'm enjoying the way Dar plays. I'm like, no one's gonna get him at this point. Like,
I feel like if Jason and Dot have a conversation about Dar, because they both said kind of the same thing, where they were like, you wouldn't know if he was a traitor or not because just how his demeanor is. I feel like they would be able to clock it, but I don't think they've had that conversation yet.
I think they did. I think
did
they did talk about it, but I think they're gonna have to come back to it.
Yeah.
The thing is, all the other three, the returnees know. Dar's the only one who isn't really like one of the returnees is a traitor. The other three returnees know that one of the returnees is more than likely a traitor.
Yeah.
So if anybody clocks him, it's gonna be them.
Three of them, yeah.
Which is interesting that you point that out because he doesn't realize how much in danger he really is. He doesn't understand the magnitude of his situation right now, that he really is the traitor that's one of the returnees. And that explains why when he said that, he was almost like in a state of panic because he felt the truth in it turning around on him. And that's the thing that I'm noticing in this season. Like everyone is like really speaking the truth and not actually realizing that they're speaking the truth.
Yeah. That is the best part of Traitors. It is the best part.
Yeah, they're like telling it and then they're talking themselves out of believing that they already spoke the truth. Like they spoke the truth and they're like, no, that can't be.
Treya with the instinctual bang situation, like episode 1, she's like, I don't trust this. Something's off about that. Never going further because there's no other evidence. But like, it's your instincts, it's your intuition. It's like, yeah, like I don't know. People just there's no way to actually
trusting your intuition more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you can't quantify intuition. It's just there.
Yeah.
And I've been playing poker for 20 years, and I'm going to tell you, there's sometimes you'll just look at a hand, and
you
just know. Either you look at like pocket aces or kings, and you're like, "Oh, I'm about to get fucked."
Yeah.
Or you're going to look at a raggy hand, and you're going to be like, "I just want to play this for some reason." I don't play like this often. And intuition is a very real thing, and people need to learn to follow that more.
Well, and they could make a theory with their intuition, not really necessarily tell everyone about it, and then just like test it out. Who's doing what at that point? If you don't have trust in that person, watch them very carefully. Elle's already made so many freaking mistakes. Like people could be calling her out right now. So it's like, just back it up with facts after that.
Yeah.
I did laugh my ass off when Dar switched it from mom to grandma, though. And he's like, I couldn't do that. Like, I couldn't do that.
It caught me off guard so much.
You can't get the living people. That's funny.
Well, the other traitor went home in this episode, unfortunately. I was hoping to get an exit interview with her today. It didn't work out. So I don't know if I will be able to. I will say during the game, she did have a lot going on in real life, sadly. And I think the game was a distraction. And then that night she was out. I think she went to like Big Bear with her friends, and then obviously probably drank a lot the night before, and then set an alarm to wake up for the game, but didn't wake up until literally she texted me like 20 minutes after the round table, like, oh, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. And I must say it's Tabitha's fault that Ashley was kicked out of this game, because last season Tabitha missed 2 tribal councils. So I was like, I have to change this rule.
Shout out to Tabitha.
If you miss one round table, you're missing all the fire. You gotta go. It's just unfair.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. I think that
Yeah.
Sad to see her go, though.
It happens. And it sounds like
there's one every season though that leaves because they've like missed too many chats or
so annoying.
Life gets in the way.
the spirit of the game right now really needed that because they were way on the wrong track.
I
They needed that reality
know.
check. They needed that reality check. Something needed to happen for them to say, wake up, you guys are going the wrong way.
Yeah,
Because
we talked
Drea
about
was
that
about
too,
to
but
be
it's like
voted
this
out.
information that's just handed to them
Yeah.
that wasn't earned or worked for.
Yeah.
And it's drastically going to change the game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Drea was about to get like full blown like voted out. Everyone was.
And now she's about to be a traitor. No, I'm kidding.
Well, yes, that brings me to my next question. Fan guy already gave his thoughts, and you can still give more. But do you think they should choose to off someone or choose to recruit?
It
And
depends.
if recruit, then who?
I think L should want to kill somebody, honestly.
Yeah.
And I think Dar should definitely want to recruit
How many left?
a former returnee
Yeah.
because then he can put
And-
all the heat onto that returnee
Yep.
and be like, "Hey, we got the returnee." I'm obviously not, but I think L's in a little bit different situation where I think she's just better off killing a power player at this point rather than recruiting anybody.
I think it's always good to have another trader for sure. But I will say that the minute that happens, because no murder is going to happen, Mike is going to be like, there is a traitor, like there's a third traitor. And that then whoever's acting different is going to probably be voted out right away. So I'm interested in seeing that. I do think it is better for them to kill, but it's never a bad thing to have another traitor just to like cushion yourself.
Who do you think they trust the most right now?
The traitors, like who they trust?
Out of the faithfuls.
Jason.
I do think Jason would be chosen.
Because I feel like they should definitely recruit the one who's most trusted.
I think because Elle already trusts Jason, and Dawn got called out by Jason's whole like returnee streak. So that would be a good.
That would be really good.
To bring in.
I think they should recruit, and I think they should choose Jason as well. But I think they should recruit because people were saying that they thought it was one, possibly two traitors.
Mm-hmm.
And if one traitor is definitely gone, they're not going to say, oh, well, now they have to choose one more traitor. They're going to start thinking there's got to, if no one dies, they're going to start thinking it's got to be at least 3 now because it's hard to explain, but that the math of how traitors works makes sense when they're thinking it's only 1 or 2. But the reason I can't focus
think that
on
they
that
just tried to murder somebody that was safe.
That too. The reason I can't focus on that whole thought process is because my focus right now is the faithfuls, even though the show is called The Traitors. I just wanted to say that they were not handed anything. They were rewarded because they were truly trying to be faithfuls. Nobody was allowing each other to target each other just for GP. They were all trying to keep each other focused on the goal at hand, and that is to find a traitor. And
I
because
100% disagree with you.
I know that you would because it was something you said earlier. I was referring to what you had said earlier, so I knew that. Yes, I was prepared for that.
That was so funny.
But I just want to say, I think if they were rewarded, I mean, I think that for the show's purposes, yes, it was like handed to them. But in terms of what they're doing and their cause inside the game, if I was a faithful, I would feel like, oh, finally a break because we were all in here trying to keep each other focused.
I get that too, but I think it was before you came in. I was saying that I didn't feel like the conversation at the roundtable, it was so dominated by Drea focusing on the wrong information that they weren't really focused on, okay, the whole roundtable conversation was just dominated by this like a trio of people that there's no way that all 3 of them are going to be traitors, that nobody else had a chance to say, well, I think it could be this person because of this. Like, we're not having like conversation at the round table.
Yeah.
I do think Drea is going to be the most the most paranoid after this, like, because she had her eyes set on 3 attorneys. Her best friend in the game is actually the one who's the traitor. So now she's going to be like even more confused. But I think all the cast is going to be pretty paranoid because Ashley is pretty low on most people's radars. So like they have to kind of flip their model of what they were thinking and be like, let's go on who we do trust, because the ones who are gaining our trust are probably the ones deceiving us. Like I would hope they would go that way because that is what a trainer needs to do is to gain so much trust.
They should recruit Drea.
I was just thinking that. It did cross my mind just now.
I'd be okay with that because I think Drea would literally dominate the conversation, still be completely suspicious, but no one's gonna be like, "Oh, she's a traitor."
Yeah.
And she's a good cover because if they're thinking she may be a traitor, and that people target her anyways because she's doing all these other things that she's been doing now, and she was close with Ashley. Now they're still protected because people are going to target her.
Yeah.
I don't think she would do this gameplay, but it would be hilarious if Drea was recruited and then she outed Dar L to get them out.
You can't out them.
But you can't purposely out. You can't say, "Oh, I'm a traitor."
She wouldn't win if she did that, though.
But you could stir the pot. Could you?
She could throw them under the bus. Yes.
Okay.
That would be hilarious. I would love.
I feel like she would do that, low key. Like she would be like, "I'm good, but these two aren't." Like still. I don't know. I think she would be
or like bring up a conversation that they were talking about yes. Watchtower. What is it called?
The Tarot.
The Tarot. Thank you.
And Dar and Elle would ever allow Dre to be a traitor because that would literally call. That's like Carolyn being a traitor. Like just completely like so unpredictable. Even though I was on her side the whole season, but like. It's just you can't rely on that person to have your back. Yeah. She can say anything at any time. So they really did pick someone that holds.
I loved Carolyn as a trainer.
I was on her side 100%. But what
I was
saying
pulling forward too.
What I was saying is that like the others are just unable to like rein her in because she shouldn't be stopped. Like same with Drea, she shouldn't be stopped. But yeah,
Caroline was a terrible traitor. She was awful as a traitor. Like, she was like, oh, she wanted to be a faithful so bad the whole time.
Kudos to Dot though for making like that whole like crazy situation light. It was hilarious. And he's like, Dot wants to talk. Dot wants to talk.
Oh
Dot
yeah. he genuinely wanted to speak though. I felt it. He was itching his bit, but he like let it go because he was like, "Oh, let me not do that."
I know. I was like, "Go ahead, Dot. You have the floor."
He usually does that. So
I'm going to quickly go over some people we didn't talk a lot about, or not at all. Some of them. But do you have anything else to say about Raven or Mike in this episode?
I'm happy for Mike. I think that Mike was such an easy out in the beginning, but I do feel like he's gaining some ground in terms of like the alliance with his returnees and Elle, and he doesn't seem like a target for the faithfuls either. So it's a good thing. And then Raven, I don't know. I genuinely think Raven can be voted off very soon, but it really depends if like Don and Anthony like don't trust her anymore, which I can't really see that happening. Anthony loves Raven. So
Mike's biggest issue is at the end of the game, he could never win. No one's ever gonna say, let's end the game with Mike still in it. They're never gonna do it.
If they were going to, this would be the one to do it in.
I don't know.
The Traitors aren't gonna let him get that far. He's too faithful of a faithful.
If they're smart, at least. If there's Traitors left.
Even if he's there at the end, they're gonna go, nope. Yeah. Sorry, Mike.
I kind of agree. like if Mike, Dot, and Jason got to the end with, I don't know, maybe Jason's the recruited traitor. Like Dot would trust Jason over Mike, I think. At that moment.
Dot would kick them all off. Dot would be like, fuck all of you.
That's fair. That is fair.
Oh man.
I wanted to say something. We haven't seen a whole lot of Anthony, and I would like to see more of him and his thought process because I think he's an interesting player. But I really liked the way that he approached the conversation with Lauren in asking her, I feel in a very genuine manner, what her side of the story was and what she perceived the situation to be, instead of just taking the hearsay that's going on in conversations and running with it, which is what a lot of people do, and it's easy to do. And no, I liked that he was very genuine and personable in that conversation with her in a way to find out information, whether or not he believed her or decided to go against Raven after that or not. Then I think, he still gained some sort of information from her in a in a great way.
He just needs like a cheerleader to be like, yeah, you're right, man. There's something sus about that person that you're sussing. It's like he just doesn't have that foundation set where he's like, where he wants to think logically about something. So
Yeah.
I can see him scrambling a little bit because of that, but I think he's doing really good. And I hope that him and Lauren build that relationship more because that was really cool.
Yeah, I think that he just likes Raven too much to.
I know.
Yeah,
Anthony
I
is
always,
Raven Bay.
I'm always here for a newbie to like do well or like figure themselves out in the game.
Yeah.
Like I don't really necessarily need to see the four fraternities kind of dominate this whole game for the rest of the game. I am interested in seeing how Raven overcomes her like anxiety during very crucial moments, and Anthony, I don't know, being a little more critical because he's already critical. It's just he kind of just lets it go. Like he just doesn't pursue it further. He doesn't build alliances to like insert himself. And Lauren, I do think, has what it takes to play this really well. And so there's a lot of interesting newbies that I think would be really, really fantastic to like end this game.
Yeah, I said this a little earlier. I think Anthony, other than Dre, is the only one really trying to figure out everything and not just vote for one person.
Yeah.
They're going about it completely opposite ways, where Dre is throwing out all these names, but Anthony, I think, is trying to at least figure out all angles, talking to everybody.
Yes. Yes.
Any other thoughts on Anthony?
He reminds me so much of Dom.
Well, that must be a good thing then for you.
He's just like I feel like as the games are progressing, he's progressing, and so like getting more like talkative and wanting to communicate more with people. So he's just trying to get out of his bubble.
Wait.
I think he's arguably the most likable person on this cast.
I think so.
Is Anthony the male version of Raven? Because like I think he's a good-looking guy, and I think people trust him innately without reason. So like maybe Anthony is the male version of Raven. Like people just kind of like when they talk to him, they're just like, oh, I like that conversation. Like Lauren enjoyed the conversation. Like he really
He's a lot more put together than Raven, though. I think Raven is really floundering right now.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
The crystal energy wasn't aligned this month. They were playing. She
Must be it.
She took the topaz instead of the amethyst, and just messed everything up with the harmonic energy.
We didn't talk about Lori much at all. Any thoughts on Lori other than her notes? Or
Hey, that was my up. That was my
I
up.
still love Lori.
Well, why was she your up? Okay.
Partially because she's aware that she has no idea of what's going on. She actually said it. So for all of you disagreeing with me, I just want to point out,
Listen,
Lori actually said it this episode.
Can we have a neutral? We have an up and a down. Can we have like a neutral? Because I put her as my neutral person. Like I haven't decided yet, but my eye is on her. Like, I haven't decided which way she's going, but my eye is on her.
Lori and I are from New Mexico, so naturally
That's fair.
I got to represent her.
You said what?
But
They're both
note
from New
thing-
Mexico.
The note thing just really made me laugh. Like, because Dre and Jason are going at it, and she's like, okay, they're yelling at each other.
I'm so bad. I want to see what she's writing. Like is she drawing stick figures of them fighting at each other? Like, what's going on? Because genuinely, like, I would love to read the entire book.
But Jason's the only person who's clocking her. Like no one else, she's on no one else's radar. That's why she's up for me, because I think she's literally got the easiest walk to the end of this game where no one's gonna mess with her.
Jason, it has PTSD from the last game, and that is the only reason why he's clocking.
The only reason he's so focused.
Like, if that was the case, he wouldn't be. He's still too aggressive. Like I'm over here to myself, like Jason, what are you doing? Why are you interrogating people? Like you're not even not even in a position of interrogation. He's just like trying to have genuine, like a general conversation with someone, like really try to get to know them, and it's still like very aggressive.
Yeah,
he is.
Jason
And
just
he
likes to talk.
immediately brought up Lori when he was talking to Dre about who they're going to interrogate. He's like, "What do you think about Lori? I think we should interrogate Lori. She's mine. She's on my list. You pick a guy. I got Lori."
Like he's like being like drill sergeant to the person he's supposed to be like partnered with right now. Like this is your partner, and you're like interrogating her.
Yeah, I would be so intimidating, like in a conversation with him. I'd be like, stop, like chill for a second.
He seems like the person that would always be like screaming in their confessional too.
I feel like
just like
I feel like if I was in this game, I would have called him out and be like, hey, like, stop pinpointing the last season to this season.
Yeah.
Lori is not Susan,
No,
so
she
let
is
it
not.
go.
I do think he's trying to use logic, though. He is trying to use logic because
Yeah.
the Lori would have been one of my first suspects because of the profile, because I do follow a lot of reality games, and you do understand that there are certain profiles that fit into certain slots.
Right.
And Lori would be a great traitor. So, like, I understand his mindset of immediately going, oh, the older, really sweet grandma. Yeah, that would be a really good traitor. Like, I can get behind that. I can get behind that thought process, even
Well,
if it's
that
not
prototype
right.
is his mortal enemy. So.
It is. It really is. I mean, if Susan is his downfall, will Lori be his downfall? That would be great. I would love to see
The
that.
OCG PTSD is real.
PTSD.
Yeah, I mean, if he focuses on her, like he doesn't even know if he's focusing on her for like a traitor or like what is he focused? That's the thing I can't understand. Like, is he thinking that she's a traitor? Or she thinks she's a like so in a sense that may be his downfall. He may be like so focused on her that he's not even paying attention to who the traitors really could be at this point, especially with this bomb that Ashley's a traitor.
Right.
Like he's
but
he's got it now.
on it. He's already like kind of called out Elle. He's already kind of now. He's
I
a
will
little
say
stressed
Jason
out.
was the only one on Ash.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Unless he can get off Lori and start focusing on who really is the next traitor, like unless he's like, okay, I was right about Ashley, am I right about Elle? Unless he can do that, if he can only keep focusing on Lori, it's going to be that's the
I don't
part.
think he's just focused on Lori though. I think he's just like Drea. Actually, I think he's very scattered. He's like, I don't fully trust this person. I don't fully trust this person. He's literally said that about 90% of the cast. Like, I don't fully trust them.
Yeah.
So
If
he
she
should be
was
good on
murdered,
Lori.
I think he would get it together more. Like if she's just not there anymore, I think that he would have a much better chance of figuring out. If
I think
Lori
as far as
got
awareness
murdered,
goes, he's actually at the top. Like, I think he's one of the most aware players.
He is, and he has
Of the
the
season.
privilege for him is that he also is close with Elle, and because him and Dar play together, they naturally promise together. So he actually has the most information that he can clock, and he is suspicious. But I do worry that like he'll be out before that even happens. He needs to like get it together in terms of like how he talks to people. Don't get sidetracked by Lori or Drea. Like move on.
I wonder if
I'm
he's
interested
to like trust Lori more now that she told him like, hey, I'm not a traitor, and like looked him in the face and did it, because he kind of did say that. So I'm curious.
I just want to say I hate those questions. Like, are you a traitor? Who's gonna say yes?
Yes, they're trying to because they're trying to fill the intuition, but they're not giving it they're not giving themselves an opportunity to take in what's being said. So it's almost a mute point. But Alex, you mentioned that Jason, you think that he's not gonna make it to the end. I'm interested to know whether you guys think he's gonna be killed or voted out. That's what I'm interested about. Like, do you think the traitors would kill him?
I think he has all the options. He could either be recruited into this next episode and then get voted out because of it. He could be like voted at the round table. He could be murdered by Dar. Like, genuinely.
Okay, that explains why I can't. Okay.
I personally think he will probably get killed at a round table. I genuinely think he's going to like be a lot really outspoken. He can't change that. It's going to rub certain people in the wrong way. It's going to start to raise. So.
I think the smartest move on the traitors is to probably recruit Jason because
Jason or Mike, one of the two.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep.
I think they'll recruit Jason. That's my opinion.
I think if they don't recruit Mike, they'll have to eventually kill him.
Yes.
He's already on Dar's radar, so
and he's too faithful.
Mike's never gonna win. Mike will never win.
So bad.
Sorry, Mike.
Mike is not winning this, and it's not because of him. It's just because of his history and also how he's playing it now, because he has to play it this way. So
Any other final thoughts on Lauren?
Lauren?
I didn't know we were talking about Lauren. I have something to say about Lauren. She said it right. She said it's so obvious. Whatever they were talking about, and she was just like, it's so obvious. And I'm like, that's when I realized like they are really just speaking everything that's going on because you're saying it's obvious and you just still don't see it.
Yeah.
It's obviously not obvious.
Can listen to yourself.
One thing, go
I
ahead.
love how Lauren presented herself in this episode.
Mm.
I think
She was my
has
up.
a lot to build on with relationships. I think she is at a good starting point, so she definitely needs to request more chats at this point, especially with Anthony.
Yes.
And I would even try to like move into like Dot's territory. I would.
Yeah,
I would
replace
definitely.
Amy. Yep.
Yeah, like yeah, she definitely like. I think she's at a good spot.
I would like to see her at that. Just keep that momentum she has going. Just keep pushing herself. Just keep going and going.
Why she's not trying to talk to Dot more one-on-one, knowing his history with me.
Not just getting like that she's your friend, honestly. I feel like he keeps like, oh yeah, Meg, like, you know, like I
He's
don't
way too distracted by Mike being there.
exactly. He's not thinking about the connection with you through Lauren. But I do think Lauren has the ingredients to kind of amp herself up continuously, and she just needs to get there. Like
She's got great momentum too.
She has. Good momentum.
She does.
She does.
Yep.
My one critique of Lauren still, well, her reasoning for being sus of Raven's answer was that she talks with her hands, and I'm like, that's very anti-Italian American. Like,
it's actually so.
That's all I do.
And it's also
like, girl, you reach in.
It's usually a good sign. Well, I'm doing it right now. But it's usually a good sign. Like you animate it, you're not like body language all depends on the person. It's not about a specific movement. It's about how one person is doing it. So if you're doing movement because you're like trying to distract, then it's a problem. But if you're an Italian person and you're naturally using your hands.
Well, and I think it's like her anxious thing.
Yeah,
If she's anxious, that's how she tries to get her words out. Because I can tell like she has a hard time getting her words out, so she uses her hands a lot. So
and it's funny because you see every once in a while my hand keeps getting in here. For some reason, if I can't see if my hands aren't helping me speak, I feel like I'm not speaking at all. I have to get my arms in here every once in a while. Like, I do. You see me like pointing at you guys because I'm like I can't see my hands when I'm holding the phone.
On the other side of that, though, Raven's like the way she be nervous, that does make her look very suspicious. So
I'm worried. I want her to not be persecuted for being anxious and like her nervous tics come out. Like I want her to get past that.
I think the more she gets anxious too, the more you can see her growing more anxious. I think that I like for her, I'm just over here like Raven, breathe, baby, just
She's like that's like.
I know I would do like a mental check-in if I was in this game with her because I'm just like that's like what I feel with her right now. It makes me feel bad.
Yeah. She's like her mind is in a blender right now.
Yeah.
I mean, this game is kind of brutal. Like anytime you like for me for my season, like you guys don't understand. Like I really was meditating every day. Like sometimes I'd wake up like it was so fun, but it was just so like socially exhausting. I didn't know which way I was going. I didn't know what to believe. I didn't know what to know.
Exhausting. All I kept thinking, because my first game was Survivor, and on the online survival too.
Yeah.
All I kept thinking was like, I couldn't imagine like being in real Survivor on an island, having to like be in this situation all the time, watching all these people go and talk to each other, because I would have a 7-minute shot and then go out to my husband and be like, stop playing Call of Duty. I need you to focus on me.
Yes.
Help me through
That's
this
why
because I don't know
love
what to do.
Nick is doing. Thank you, Nick, for allowing us to live vicariously through you from the real when we cannot survive.
It just ruined my mental health. I'm so much happier not.
I'm sorry to ruin your mental health.
No, you've given our mental health life.
I did not sleep. Like I think it was like the night before. Like I was prepping my speech. I'm like, I can't imagine being on an island like completely sleep deprived. Malnourished,
cold, hungry.
Too much. Yeah, hungry. No, I'm always.
No, I couldn't do the hunger myself.
And cold. I don't like being cold.
No.
Unnecessarily wet from the rain. Oh.
I know.
I could do all that. I can do all the island stuff. It would be the social stuff that would just be my demise. I would go insane.
I included with the social. Separate. It would be hard. It would be very hard separately. Social, like when you add that social component, that enough on its own. Like it's got me glitching already here right now, just thinking about it. So no, I mean. Cold, I have to do it every winter, so I know I could make it through, and stuff like that. But that social component, and then nobody to vent to, like you
cannot trust.
And so I think that's why I'm practicing my spirituality too, because if I can tap into the whatever then I could do something like that. I could go out there. I just have to meditate all the time. You'd always see me sitting around just meditating.
I guess you'd be coach. You'd be coach out there if you were.
Yes. That'd be so
I tell
funny.
people I'm like a trained extrovert, but I'm actually an introvert. And so, yeah, the social part would be like, woo, I'd be like out like by myself doing kumbaya.
Quick final thoughts on Al and Dara's game and predictions for next week.
Okay. First of all, this season is so good. Like, genuinely watching this episode yesterday, I was like, the whole episode was great. And then the Ashley surprise, I was like, oh my God. Like, I'm going to be away next week, so I won't be able to see it in real time, but I can't wait.
I think they're going to recruit Jason.
I think they'll recruit Jason, but...
Or off mic. Okay.
I actually think the Traitors might lose now. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think the more like Ashley was honestly the glue that kind of held it together, and Elle is coming down like really hard. So Dar and Elle, I don't know if the chemistry can make them win at the end. So I'm actually now like looking elsewhere. I don't know who's gonna win, but
which is why they definitely should recruit, because
yes,
the two of them together, I do not think they would survive very long.
Yeah.
At all.
Dar has to recruit. I'm like they're going to recruit. I'm pretty confident they're going to recruit.
Do they recruit separately, or is it just one person?
No, it's
all
cool.
together.
Okay.
And if
Okay,
that
but
person doesn't agree to be a traitor, do they just get murdered?
No, they could just disagree.
Oh,
Who wouldn't agree? Who wouldn't
Okay,
agree?
so
Oh, but they
Now-
know the traitors are,
Jason.
right?
okay, so
Think Jason
so
would
who-
disagree, Alex?
No, I genuinely feel like Jason's like kind of would he? Because he is kind of talking about Elle like working with her, even if she's a traitor.
If someone says no, I'm going to rip them to shreds next
no,
week.
if he
They're not gonna-
Traitors
You know
have
what?
all the
Jason
power
has-
in this game. You
Jason
want
has-
to be a traitor.
Jason has every right to agree with them though, because he's played with Dara in the last season and he has trust
Well,
with Elle.
he
so
won't
it
know
would be-
though. He won't know who's a traitor. Whoever gets recruited will just say, "Would you
Dang.
like to be a traitor?"
I agree
Yes
they
or no?
should do Jason, but I don't think they will, because Ashley was kind of the one, like we were saying, like kind of, the one helping move things along. So they're not gonna choose somebody that they feel might say no to it. They're gonna want to make sure that they guarantee it, because here's the thing. They know they need that number for themselves right now.
Jason does feel like on the outside, people might perceive him as someone who might not say yes to it. Like, if I'm thinking about the rest of the faithfuls who to recruit, like, I don't think he would be a sure win of like he will say yes. I do think some people like Mike and probably
Lori.
not. Lori might say no. I don't know. I feel like Lori, like the way people perceive her, might say no. But I could see like a Mike Dot being more popular of a decision here.
What about they recruit Dot?
They could.
He's not a bad one either.
They
Yeah.
just don't know. I feel like they don't know him enough, the two of them.
Mm.
So like, but he would say yes, and like they know
Yeah,
that.
I can see that.
I don't know that we can count on these two traitors to, and I mean, I'm just gonna say it like this, to make like an optimal decision.
Yeah,
I don't know that we can count on that.
they wanted to kill
Which
Mike.
is why I'm thinking Lori, because she takes all the notes. They're gonna want the person that they feel like has the most information to out them,
Interesting.
which is not optimal in this situation.
Lori's notes are pointless though.
Lori's notes are, we don't know.
They are
we don't
pointless.
know what they
I mean, they're
said.
actually pointless.
We
They're
don't
actually-
know what the notes
they
are.
said.
That's true. We
We
don't know.
don't know what these notes are.
What could they
We
be?
do
that
not
would
know.
Be pointless. There's
Sauce? What
absolutely
is
nothing that could be
sauce?
on that sheet of paper.
Which is why you would think if they need to get a guaranteed somebody that they could either turn. See, this is the whole thing. As a trader, you need a cover, but you also need someone who's not going to turn it down or throw you under the bus, who's going to feel just as responsible to the duty as being a trader once they say yes, as you did.
Do you think
once
Lori
you
would feel
agreed.
that way?
I think Lori would be a great choice. I just don't think it has anything to do with her notes. Like that's what I'm thinking. Like her notes are like insignificant on the they're completely nothing.
I
Her
would
notes
be
are
just-
insignificant.
I would
But
just
she'd be a
say-
great trader. I hope they do.
What if she has so many Venn diagrams just around her living room.
I would
She's
be.
got it all figured out.
She's
I'm just trying
charming.
to figure out what her demeanor would be if she
She's
was.
got the little
a
strings pointing
I
from
think
picture to
so.
picture.
I
She's got the
Pictures
whole
of
crime
everybody.
I don't think she would do well as a traitor.
I don't think so either.
That's so weird to me. I
Yeah.
see it. But I do
Yeah.
think if they're gonna have to discuss whether or not this person will say yes or not, like they have to say yes, then Mike is probably the most popular opinion, in my opinion. I feel like Mike is someone who knows the game really well, is not going to say no. Like Ella's gonna be like, I watched Mike, he's not gonna say no to this. So like Mike feels like the person that they can like use and have him as a shield. Like I think it might be Mike. It might be Mike.
Yeah. They definitely need a shield right now for sure. So
I also kind of disagree that Mike would say yes. Now, I mean, I could be wrong. You know, I don't know Mike as well as you all
Yeah.
do.
He would
Well,
say,
I don't.
I'm going to tell you, you are wrong.
he would
Mike
say
would
Well, I'm
100% say yes.
I
Mike understands
I know,
that
and that's
traders
just
have the power in this game.
Yeah,
maybe
there's
that's just
no
because I'm
way
getting a
Mike
little
turns
fight
down
in
that
me. I don't
offer.
know. There's a little.
Mike's
I'm
one.
telling you, 0% chance Mike would
Well,
turn.
this is the thing. He's in a good position right now. He's in a good position right now
He'd be
to.
in the
Be in a
exact
better
same
position as a traitor.
He'd be in the exact same position, except guess what? Now he can't get killed by the traders.
Well, the
Exactly.
problem is at the round table he can be targeted
He
and
can be
voted out.
targeted either way.
He's already targeted. He's already been
He
targeted.
can be
So-
targeted either way.
But
It
I
changes
think it
nothing.
would be. I think it would work in his favor as a trader too, because Dot's starting to trust him. Jason
Yeah.
already trusts
Yeah.
him.
Guys,
So
guys,
it's like-
anybody turning down the option to be a trader is a fucking moron.
There,
Sorry.
that part right there. Yes, I
You're a
agree with
fucking
you about that,
moron.
fan guy. Yes, I
Do you
agree
think
with you
Mike
about
would
that.
act,
We can agree to
different
that.
as a trader? if
No,
he was a
I
trader?
think Mike would be very similar because he's already like he looks sus sometimes. So I genuinely think
Mike is way too smart to ever not want to be a trader.
Yeah.
Like he knows, like the traders in this game have all like you literally have so much more power than the faithful.
You do. You definitely do.
If you're faithful on any given night, you could just be gone on the whim of whoever the traders are. The traders
Yeah.
don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
There's
That's so
there's no way that
Yeah,
anybody
no, that's true.
who is remotely thinking about things would turn down the offer to be a trader.
I have a really crazy suggestion of what's going to happen next. So Mike gets recruited because Dar's like, we need a target in front of us. Mike becomes a trader, realizes Dar and Ella are traders with him. He literally plots Dar's downfall. And like, you know, because Jason's all gung-ho about finding the one trader that's within the fraternity. So Mike is going to be like, what if it's Dar? And they all vote Dar, and then he is a trader, and everyone trusts Mike for the longest time, and Mike wins this game for the first time in OCG history.
That is what I would do if I was Mike.
Congratulations,
That's what
Mike.
That's what I would do if I was Mike.
And that's the same line Dar could take, though. That's the same line Dar could
I
take
agree.
if he recruited Mike. Let me put the pressure on Mike
will
now
Dar
because he's
do that?
voted out.
Will Dar succeed is the question. Mike will.
I
Dar,
agree that the likelihood is on that than
Exactly.
the other way.
Exactly. So
All right. Well, on that note, we will end it for this week. And
This
we
was
will
a
see you-
solid chat.
yes.
Hey, Aspen, where you at?
Right?
I don't know.
Come on, Ashley.
She's just ghosting this season, I suppose.
Her head's in the
Oh.
clouds.
All right. Until next time.
Bye.